Visibility that does not lead to signed clients is not visibility. It might be a hobby. Today, we get straight about the difference because the goal was never more views, it was more clients every month. Welcome back to the Stuck No More Voices podcast. I'm Theresa Croft. I'm a visibility specialist who helps Christian women go from their calling to their story to be able to have a message that their ideal audience is looking for. So if you are listening or watching on YouTube, would you subscribe? That would really help me. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, share this post with someone that might really encourage them. So let's get into it. I'm talking about visibility and I'm talking about clients, but I'm still coming from the same heart of what is best for you in this ordeal of visibility. I'm not going to hang one over you that I haven't walked through myself. So let's get into it. What we're aiming for today, I have your best interest at heart, not talking more, not sharing more, not more followers, not more likes, signed clients every month or sold products every month. If you are a Christian woman with a service or a product, that is the result your visibility exists to produce. Anything less is entertainment. I've watched brilliant women build big audiences that never convert. It's not because the audience is broken. It's because the message is not tied to the calling, and the calling is not tied to a story, or there's no connection path from them to their ideal clients. That's the good part of the fix, and we're going to get into that. But today we're going to unpack 3 points that you can hang your hat on to gain clients. Point number 1, your credentials, they say what you're qualified to do. The calling says what you are assigned to do. Those are 2 different things. A qualified expert, they're going to compete on price. They're going to talk about their features. A woman chosen with a meaning is going to share her story that will lead to the features. Your ideal client can find hundreds of experts with your credentials in one search. She cannot find you, the woman, your voice, your story on a search. You're one of a kind. So when your calling is named plainly in your content, she stops scrolling. Not because you convinced her, but because there is no one to compare to you as you have your own unique story that she needs, that connects to a solution that you have for her. This is step number 1. See your calling. Notice what God has placed in you. I love the example of a dear friend of mine. She had a brain injury at 4 years old. She grew up with teachers saying horrible things that she'll never amount to anything. She worked on herself. She worked on her mind. And today she has not just an amazing calling, she has stories that back up that she's one of the leading faith and neuroscience mentors out there. So you can even take the devastation of your past and turn it into a story that becomes part of your calling. Point number 2, your story is what makes her trust you fast. Here's the real currency in a sale. Not price, not credentials, trust. Write that down. The real currency in a sale is trust. A woman who does not need months and months of exposure before she books, or a woman who trusts you after a few posts. I've watched it happen. And your story is what builds that trust. When you tell it from the right place, you speak from your scars, not your wounds, and not the highlight reels, not the polished about page. From the moment you walk through the exact thing she walked through. This is the second step. Express your story. Say it plain, say it true. I remember the years, even while amidst the trauma, even while amidst a very abusive situation, I never wanted to throw up on Facebook. So I would go to the Lord, and out of that overflow, I would be able to speak, to share. I did have an offer. I had many offers back then, but I had one in particular. And I'll never forget it. I remember one hot summer, I stepped on a rake and hit my head. And then after that, I got all these negative comments from my husband. And I was reading Jesse bringing his sons before Samuel to pick the next king. And I felt like I had a message I actually shared. What do you do when you feel like you're not picked? That rake really hurt, I've got to tell you. So that was an example of over the overflow. I shared that God does not look at the outward appearances, he looks at the heart. But I was going through a brutal thing. You see what I'm saying? But I was able to create from the overflow, from my time with God, to be able to create and attract my ideal clients. I'll tell you in a little bit how that worked. So I just have to say that I may not have tried to be visible, but I was visible. I did lots of Facebook Lives. I did lots of posts. But the stories and what I was writing in particular were what was connecting. And all of a sudden, I had a pool of clients that I hadn't tapped into that. I was really sharing at this time because I felt muted. I felt like my calling was stomped on. So, in a way, I was fighting for my voice, stepping up to the plate. Point number 3, visibility is a path, not just noise. Most of the women I meet are not invisible. They are visible with no path. There is a difference. A post, not every post though, with the next step that has a chance to convert. A story with no invitation, it does not sign anyone. Your visibility only becomes income when your pieces have a place for them to connect with you. And let me just say, you give them a resource of great value. So when they think, wow, this was so much value, I wonder what her paid stuff is, because this has so much value. So let me go back to my story. Because I felt called to write, I obeyed that calling and I put my writings, when I was having my times with God, every once in a while he'd speak to me and he'd say, listen to the vine dresser. And I had 3 books. I also shared it on Facebook a lot. At the time, I wanted to start my first Redeem Your Voice camp. So I had the piece of content, not everyone, but I had a vine dresser word, and then underneath it was a, hey, sign up for a discovery call and learn more. I would go through these days, 2 out of 3 I would sign up. And I really over delivered in the discovery call. I mean, I just gave them everything, and most of them connected. 2 out of 3 a day signed up for my Redeem Your Voice camp. But this one comment said the reason. She said, Theresa, I just didn't want to sign up just to sign up. I wanted to meet the person behind the listen to the vine dresser words. She just wanted to meet someone's out there wanting to meet the person behind your content. They may opt in for your product, for your free resource that leads them maybe to a discovery call. Let me give you an example of what I'm doing today. I don't have 100 offers today. My main offer is the calling activation study, right? So I have strategic posts on Facebook, my profile, and on Instagram, but not everyone leads to the study. But I do have specific ones that will lead her to my sign up page. It's also called an opt-in page with a email. I have systems where I don't have to answer every email, systems, right? To answer that email, give them the link for the study, and also continue to nurture them. What I mean by that, just give them good stuff for free. Just continue to pour into them. And then the actual study. After the study, I don't lead them to my product. I don't lead them to my service. I lead them to a discovery call. And from that discovery call, it often turns into 2 discovery calls because I want to know that I'm really interested in them. I got to know if I can really help them. And then the second discovery call, we talk about what I have to offer. You're visible has a meaning when someone sees you and your products and they want to get to know you or they want to learn, get a free resource from you. It's like if you got a product, figure out how to give them something free, like how to do something free. as a resource, and then lead them to your line of products, which I'm sure are great. You have a service. Give them a piece of your service. It might be a 10-minute video, but have a clear way for them to watch that 10-minute video. Really get to know you and see how you teach. I do that with a resource that's really kind of a bonus, but I did a video teaching on how to make AI not sound like a robot, but sound like you. That would be a great opt-in, but I'm using the calling activation study. But I have that in my back belt if I want to pull it out. But I also have it as a bonus to those who sign up. See, they sign up. I want to continue to nurture them. They sign up. You continue to nurture them and give them value. It makes them feel good for signing up. So if this stirred something in you and you're like, wow, this is good, I want to know more, I invite you. Here we go. This is the pitch. I invite you to my calling activation study. It's free. It's coming up on the time of this recording at August 20th at 7 p.m. That's a Thursday. And we're going to use a method for some of you to really see the nuts and bolts of your story. Do a little story mapping. Show you the steps to take your calling to your story to gaining your ideal clients. So check the show notes. I'd love to see you in person across from a Zoom camera. So that third step was expand your reach and reach the one who needs you. Now listen, when these three lock in, the math changes. You stop needing thousands of followers. You may need just the right 100. You stop launching every other month with every other offer. You need one offer that converts. You stop chasing every new platform. You steward the one where your women actually live. I've watched women go from 0 clients a month to 2 or 3 once these 3 places, these 3 pieces are locked in, because it's not built on hype. It's a real assignment, reaching a real woman with a real path to say yes. So here's what I want you to sit with. Visibility is not the goal. Signed clients and sold products are the goal. Visibility with your story is just how you get there. Your calling is the reason she chooses you over 10 other experts. Your story is the reason she trusts you fast. Your path is the reason she becomes a client instead of just a follower. If you're ready to lock these 3 in, I do invite you to the calling activation study. So if you're ready to lock these in, I do invite you again to the calling activation study. It's live and it's free, and it's where we connect with other women, story map, talk about visibility, and talk about signing clients to your product or service. You know, your visibility was never meant to be noise. It was meant to be a bridge from your calling through your story to the one woman who has been waiting for you. I'm Theresa Croft. I'll talk to you in the next episode of the Stuck No More Voices podcast.